it occurred to me that it would be interesting for the listeners, possibly at some point, to hear about some of the kinds of things that are talked about in the autism cases that actually get published in the 50 states. And you might even want to read some of these so that you can see how the issues are framed. I know some of you are very DIY scholars in terms of preparing for your IEPs and things. So if you're interested, there are cases to read. So there's one that you can Google. It's called Timothy O versus Paso Robles, P-A-S-O-R-O-B-L-E-S, which for those of you that live in California know it's a district in Central California. So this is a recent case. It's May 2016, and it talks about what the district's liability is for failure to diagnose autism when there are objective indicia that the student has autism and should be eligible under that eligibility. So if you want to read about that, it might be interesting. I suggest you pick up Timothy O versus Paso Robles, and you don't need any special subscription service. You can just Google it. But what happened in this case is that the case was decided at the district court level, and then it was overturned at the appeal level. And it begins with a very interesting description of what we now know constitutes the presentation of a typical autistic child at 18 or 24 months. It begins with the chilling sentence: the Center for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that nearly 1 in 68 children has autism spectrum disorder, a neurodevelopmental disorder that is characterized in varying degrees by difficulty communicating and socializing, and by restrictive, repetitive behavior, interests, and activities. And it goes on from there to give a history of our understanding of autism and why the district was so at fault in terms of ignoring the student's autistic presentation and failing to diagnose him. So that might be interesting reading. That's the goodie.
Wow, I mean, that's amazing. And so so you said that it was decided and then it was overturned. Currently, are they expecting that school districts are going to be responsible for not diagnosing? Will they be held accountable? Is that where it's left now?
They actually already have been under another case called Amanda J. versus Clark County, which is Clark County, Nevada. You can also Google that one. But this is a factual discussion about the evidence that the district had and the district ignored. And I've been thinking about this week because we're working on a case in which a child has had clear signs of autism, and for 2 years in a row the school district evaluated and found the child ineligible. So it's just, it's an interesting discussion for people that like to see how these disputes develop.